Okay, video number 2. It is February 1st, 2011. Again, that still makes it Tuesday. And I still had this angelic effect happening with the light coming in, and I kind of like it. Anyways, just got off the phone with my interest of affection. I'm such a dweeb. And she's like, wanna have lunch with me? And I'm like, I have to be responsible and learn a song on guitar and restring it, and then restring it first, and then learn songs, and can't go out and eat and get kissed and hugged. But yeah. Anyways, so before I go off and be responsible with other responsibilities, because this is a responsibility to humanity, to talk about my experience, to talk about me when I was there, and the environment contrasts with me, how the world interacts with me. Anyways, I'm being silly. Or am I? So, yes, I wanted to talk more specifically about interactions, and in particular, learning so much. Because one thing is, do you know how when you look into a telescope or a pair of binoculars, you can only see out of one end, in the way that the light diffracts, such, like you can't really look at it through the other end, you just see pretty much nothing, or you might just see the casing. But in any case, it's sort of like, I know what I see when I look out, but I can't see what it looks like when people are looking in at me. So it's just like, it's really interesting to see how, when people perceive me and look at me, how they arrive at some sort of, like, this is where Christina is, and so for me, it's just like, I'm still very much the same person, nicer, newly improved, growing breasts, a little bit taller, I feel like a little taller. Anyways, so new and improved, and nicer, and unfortunately just as shallow. But, so it's just like, it's really interesting to see, like, how, like, being the same person but very, 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 very different changes the way that I am taken in. So it's like, it's really a new, like, area for me in terms of dating and possible intimacy. I've already felt lots of changes through hormone therapy, and it's not something that happens across the board, but there are definitely psychological things that kind of meet up with the preconditions that already exist psychologically, and what you want and what you need, and somehow the two just kind of mingled with me. And whereas before, I really didn't feel driven sexually, I didn't really feel connected. And obviously, like, it's not just hormone therapy, but it's like the decision to kind of acknowledge who I am in combination with hormone therapy, in combination with just experiences that have really shaped me. So now I'm at a point where I feel like the way I view sex is differently, the way I look at intimacy is completely different, and overall, it's like taking a chunk of clay and kind of sculpting it in a way that kind of represents my sexuality. So, I so I feel a lot better, and I feel like I'm sharing, and it feels right, and I'm saying no, and I'm saying yes, and things are, like, I stand by, like, and I feel connected and such. So it's a level of ownership over my own sexuality that I feel has increased, and I feel so happy about that. And the dynamics, though, in general, with the type of male attitude that I had before versus now, my version, is just that, like, before it was very, like, stimulated, attracted, physically want to go, let's do this, go, go, go. And now it feels more like just kind of waving and moving and just ebbs and flows, very strong and then very subtle. It's just, it's more of a journey than it is an act. And for me, that's just so, so powerful. And not that one is better than the other, male versus female, female versus male, non-conforming versus conforming. It's just, for me, this is the direction I want to head, and I like it. I like it a lot. So, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that in this particular instance with someone, that this person is also very gentle and very sweet, and we connect on several things so far. And so that's absolutely crucial. Like, it doesn't matter, where you fall on any kind of area of identification. If it's right, it's better. Like if it's right, it's right. And so that's been great. And I feel like also too, I'm kind of at this point where like I feel like somebody who's about to turn 30, and then I also feel like somebody who just like, started high school, or like is in middle school, and like where I feel in terms of my maturity is somewhat mixed. And for a while it was very conflicting before before meeting this person. Not that I have had any answers, but most of my ideas of sexuality and the duality of the maleness and femaleness in me has all been theoretical, has been all in thought. So it was really hard to really see what would happen in reality when I'd be in a situation with somebody. So, deep breath. That was a big sentence. So, I mean, it happened very naturally, and it, one thing I want to talk more about in a separate space is just, at first transitioning became a whole process of working towards finding the opposite of everything that I experienced. Working towards like extreme femininity and extreme femaleness, extreme girldom and womandom and such. And suddenly like backing off and then plunging forward and then moving to the side like that. And more over time, it's like I don't feel as adamant having to validate that femininity. So the issue before was, when does that point stop? When I'm no longer emulating and I'm starting to do things naturally, and I still find myself emulating some things and such in terms of like what I think of the way that I should be based on the things that I've seen and experienced and thought. But where I'm at now, I just feel like it's almost genderless. It's almost like, yes, you can describe it in this gender binary, but really how I would describe my sexual approach, my expression seems to be a lot more like me, and it's now entering a place where there is that gender binary kind of just starts to fade a little bit, and I start to just enter a place where like there are really no words to describe the ways that I start to feel and the way that I start to be. And the only way to wrap my thoughts around it is just that it's just becoming more me. It's becoming more of like representative of like the left part right there on the inside. So yeah. So that's great. And then also too, it's really confusing too, like being in a woman-on-woman situation, because it's just like, you know, it's amazing. Because I mean, like, I try to stay away from, um, combining the two, vie and stay away, and then stave. That's pretty cool. Um, just that, in a way, this is really like my first lesbian experiences. So it's just like not only am I transitioning, but there's also some lesbianism going on here. Um, that's the quote of the week right there. I hope you're laughing and not offended, dear viewers. But yeah, it's, again, I can just keep doing some sort of recursive loop where I'm like, I need to make a video more specifically about that, and so forth. But it is getting a little bit longer, so I want to wrap this up. But it has been, it's completely different. Like I thought, like when people talk about the idea of being open to people who are loving, or just like I don't really have any particular preference, I think people still, I know I did and do sometimes, fall on what's comfortable or what I'm used to. And it takes some persuasion and guidance to kind of move away and kind of explore that. And I think that this is where, like, the whole trans universe starts to conflict with lots of everything else. And that is, gender affects sexual orientation. It affects gender identification. So it's like a, two birds, one stone kind of topic where it really starts to put things in question. So my walls are falling quickly, and challenging myself and really learning so much about, like, I don't know, just learning how to be happy, in the sense that, like, before I thought, like, well, maybe I'd have to read some books, or learn how to, I don't know, just basically, like, so this is where I'm like, I'm falling down, falling down. I just wasn't sure, you know what I mean? Because it's like, in the sense that, like, we all kind of take for granted the ability to speak, and we don't realize how it's like taken thousands and thousands and thousands of years for it to actually develop from symbols, pictorially, verbally, to express the meanings of things. And over the course of time, like, there's this system or systems that have developed to help create that level of interconnectedness between one person and another, to be able to share, to be able to communicate. And I feel like when it came to sexual orientation and dating, I just wasn't sure if I would have to, like, relearn, or learn a particular language, or, like, learn how to speak woman before I could become a lesbian. Like, all these different things. And then I just realized, like, I just want to be a nice person. That's, like, my first and foremost, like, largest priority. And when it comes into, like, the realm of relationships and such, and intimacy, like, I just want to be consensual and caring and passionate and good. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. YouTube is not going to let me put a video if I go over 15 minutes, so I'm happy. And it's taken a damn long time, so high five me. So that's about it for now. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to post questions in the comments below. And thanks for watching this uber long video. And stay warm wherever you are, and stay safe. Peace out.